iterating and adding complexity as the team becomes more sophisticated? When do you know when to bloat what you're doing or to add in more complexity?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. It's a trade-off that I'm always having in the back of my mind. So when I think about the way I want my team to approach these kinds of problems, there's really four things, or pillars, if you will, that I like to think about. One is we need to meet the data scientists where they're at. I think we've kind of spent maybe 50 minutes kind of talking about that. One is, and the other one that is where we have to find the balance is always doing what you're doing with an eye towards the future and continuous improvement. And it's a little bit of a chicken and egg problem. You want to make sure that you're going to the next step and advancing things, but you also want to make sure that you're bringing the data scientists along with you. So I think the example I gave of having the data scientists deploy their code through a CI process, I think that was a mindset shift for people, but it was absolutely necessary. And as soon as they saw how easy it was to get their models into production using this method, that was where we had the data scientists just become very engaged, right? It was, just as an example, one of our first data products, when we were working through it, we were doing manual deployments at the time, which was as bad as you might think from a manual, especially since there's more complexity. Like a manual software deployment sounds awful, but when you have the complexity of data as well involved with that, you have to juggle so many things to make that manual deployment work right. And it almost never worked just right. And it was an all hands on deck thing. Every 2 weeks we had to deploy, and it was like 5 hours where everybody would have to get in and just, make that thing work. And so my team and I, if I don't know if Jesse Pritchett's listening, but Jesse was instrumental in this, was putting together the automation framework so that we didn't have to do those manual deployments. And once people realized that they didn't have to spend 5 hours every 2 weeks and they could click a button and it was a worry-free operation, they could do it on a Friday afternoon and it wouldn't ruin their weekend. That's where people started realizing the power of this framework. So that's how we approach it, right? We find real pain points and then say, well, how do we address this pain point in a way that both fixes it, solves it, but then also gives us that one next step towards where we really want to go.